Alright guys, hope you're doing well, hope you're all keeping safe. So You Know The Vibes has just literally 15 minutes ago posted this to Twitter. If you don't know who You Know The Vibes is, you should by now, especially if you're into The Division 2. Does a lot of good YouTube content. Mostly is active on Twitch. Really good Twitch streamer, very funny, very good content on there. A lot of good entertainment. Highly recommend you go check him out. He's one of the best there is in terms of streaming for the Division 2 and just generally, not just for the Division 2 but other games as well. So yeah, highly recommend you go check him out. Thank you very much for this information. Now this appears to be a leak, if you want to call it that. A leak that I would take with you know, a huge grain of salt. I mean, even people who've commented on this are laughing about it because it's probably not true, but I thought I'd cover it here in today's video because I like to cover everything here that I can, even if it's just to kind of whet our appetite for the new content. And I know how far off these leaks can be. I remember before the raid came out for Warlords of New York, there was a huge leak about that raid and it was nowhere even close to what the raid was like. So please take this with a grain of salt. But we're going to go over this. I've not seen this before, and I'll tell you whether I believe this is something that could possibly happen or not. So let's get into this here. So it says the Division 2 DLC main campaign and new game mode plus PvP balance changes. Also guys, I've tried to look on Reddit for this and I can't find it. So it says here the hunters unite under one leader named Natalia Sokolov. So in other words, they're known as Russian Death Squads. Probably not the best time for this. There are 4 lieutenants that work under Natalia and will need to be defeated in order to find the final location of Natalia Sokolov. The final location for Natalia Sokolov is the Delaware, USA. This is where the final boss fight will occur, but also where the new game mode will be introduced. Okay, so first off, Natalia Sokolov, or Sokolova, I believe it's meant to be. Yeah, I mean, I've always said that Natalia Sokolov will likely be the next main kind of manhunt for the upcoming content. It kind of makes sense. And it also makes sense about the Delaware, USA. I can't remember where it was a while ago. We were talking about Delaware, USA being a location. And I also know that the new game mode is in a location which is not on the current map, I believe. So it could be somewhere completely different. This part so far, at the beginning of this, yeah, that could definitely happen. The 4 lieutenants have raid-like mechanics, so this will not be another rerun of manhunts like we currently do. They will have white mechanics, puzzles, etc. The first lieutenant goes under the name of Vika. The second lieutenant is known as Liza Vita. The third lieutenant is known as Yosha. And the 4th lieutenant is known as Nikita. The only information we have on Natalia is that she is a close combat operative. She uses the new exotic SMG Ryzek. I can't even say that. That will also be obtained by defeating her and obtaining a quest called Natalia's Yashik. This quest has 4 stages to it and will require specific pieces of gear and weapons to create the blueprint. Similar to how Nemesis worked, where you had to get different pieces. Hopefully it wouldn't be time-gated pieces in order to create that weapon. The drop rate of this gun is 1% from Natalia herself once the quest line is complete. So I have to say, guys, whilst you know, this is all speculation and this could completely false, this isn't like so far out there that this couldn't be real, right? The idea that the 4 new manhunts have more mechanics than what we're used to makes sense, because we do know that they are making changes to the seasons and to the manhunts, I suspect for the better. And to take mechanics that maybe we've had in the raid or other stuff and add those to those manhunts does make sense. Not so sure on the names of these this weapon here. I'm not so sure that that's a good name to have, only because no one will be able to pronounce it. Not that that's a requirement, but it makes sense. And also the idea that Natalia has an exotic SMG kind of makes sense, or an exotic weapon certainly makes sense. And the idea that you have to go through a quest in order to get that, again, it's not unlike this game to have something like that. So far, it doesn't sound crazy. Let's go on to this post here. It says and of course, guys, we haven't got everything here. So drop rate, and then let's go to the next part here, which says, which one should we go on? Let's go on this one here. It says, you finish the game mode and each player is rewarded by XP and a BTH crate. BTH crates will give players items and BTH credits that can be used as credits to shop on the new weekly vendor. So they're talking about a new weekly vendor here. I don't think there's any more in this. Okay. So that's obviously talking about the new game mode, which will be at the Delaware. The new gear set, one of the new gear sets, Haste and Hardy 2-piece, which is 25% skill haste, 3-piece is 30% explosive damage, 4-piece come and get some. Explosive damage will convert into bonus armor for you and your allies. You gain up to 50% of your armor as bonus armor to your teammates if they are within 50 meters of the explosion, cooldown of 5 seconds. Brand set, not going to pronounce that. 15% explosive damage, 5% damage to armor for 2-piece, 3-piece, 5% damage to health. And then we've got PvP balance changes. Crusader Firewall Shield, disabled in PvP due to players being able to do large amounts of damage behind a shield, as well as having the ability to corner glitch with half shields. Again, this isn't crazy. Like, that sounds like something they would do. This is where you scope in for your weapon whilst utilising the shield, which I know is a huge problem in PvP, preventing players from shooting you behind walls while you can shoot them. So yeah, this kind of makes sense. What I'll say about these two pieces here, guys, I was actually going to make a video on this, and it's the idea of power creep. And I think the Division 2 already has power creep, and I think the next update, new stuff that we get, will only create more of a power creep. And I'm looking at this stuff here and thinking to myself, this particularly might already be a bit of power creep coming in there. So yeah, I'm going to do a video on that later on. It says Bulwark Shield, increased damage modifier to shield to 6. Regulus damage decreased by 20%. Liberty damage decreased by 10%. I know that Regulus is very, very, very strong in almost all content. LMG damage increased by 10%. Rifle damage increased by 20%. Not sure about that. Roam Riot Foam duration from 2 seconds down to 1 second. WB players should use high skill tiers to be able to foam efficiently, and it isn't fair to be able to foam someone for a total of 2 seconds without any additional skill tier. Totally agree with that. Skill tier damage and duration scaling reduced by 30%. We always wanted players to explore new methods of using skills, but it has come to our attention that skills are overused due to the fact they can distribute large amounts of damage instantly and over time, while disabling players from moving normally and firing them weapons. So this is, I don't know if this is just PvP or not. I think that ultimately skills in this game are going to be nerfed at some point. I think that they are overused and they're easy to use, and I feel like the devs might move away from that with the latest update. Could be wrong, but we'll wait and see. Medkits increased from 4 to 6. PvP is all about survivability and want to increase the number of medkits players receive, as the chances of finding medkits when rogue are slim. In-sync weapon talent removed. This weapon talent provided too much in short space of time, and for that reason made other talents feel useless in PvP. I'd be surprised if they removed that. They might change it to be more balanced in PvP, but I'd be surprised if they removed it. Nemesis damage reduced by 30%. This is to prevent players from body shotting at high armor and killing players in a single shot. And again, guys, I don't PvP, so I don't even know if these are real problems or not. If anyone does PvP, let me know in the comments down below if this is viable. Are these changes viable for PvP? We do know they are doing balancing changes for PvP, so you'd have to let me know if these are, you know, this is something that could happen. Let me know in the comments down below. And I believe, oh, we've got here, Intimidate talent reduced from 35% to 30% amplified damage. Hunter Killer chest piece reduced from 40% to 35% amplified damage. Concussion talent duration of damage when not using a sniper increased from 1.5 to 3 seconds. Thank you for reading. And of course, Joker's obviously said below, there's no announcement about this. Keep in mind that nothing beyond the announcement from last week has been communicated, which is true. So read anything beyond that with a grain of salt. And I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. But I don't think this is so far-fetched that it couldn't be true, especially the beginning part here about the story. Natalia Sokolov is someone that I suspect will be the main target for the next content update. It could also be Barden Schaefer could be back, possibly. And so I don't think that that is too far-fetched to believe is true. This stuff here, of course, could just be really, really made up. I don't know how this might impact the game, so I don't even know if it's viable or not. In terms of the game modes, we do know the new game mode. Well, I think I know. I'm pretty sure the new game mode takes place outside of the current locations that we have in-game. I'm not sure if it's like a separate encounter that we can just kind of click on and go to it, or if it's a case that we can run to it, like they're saying here about Delaware. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I'm not going to believe it until it's true, but I do like to make these speculation videos and talk about them in videos with you guys, even if they are really far-fetched. But I don't think this one's so far-fetched that we couldn't even look at this a little bit and go, that might be true. Anyway, hopefully you all have a good weekend. Until the next one, Epic out.